The human mind is an incredible gift. It's the most powerful tool we have at our disposal. But like any tool, if left untamed and undisciplined, it can work against us instead of for us. The key to unlocking your true potential lies in disciplining your mind. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Discipline? That sounds hard. That sounds like work. And you're right, it is work. But it's the kind of work that pays incredible dividends. It's the work that separates the extraordinary from the ordinary, the achievers from the dreamers. You see, your mind is like a wild horse. If left to its own devices, it will run rampant, chasing every thought, every distraction, every shiny object that catches its eye. But a disciplined mind is like a horse that's been broken and trained. It's focused, it's obedient, and it's harnessed to take you wherever you want to go. Imagine the power of having a mind that's completely under your control. A mind that doesn't get derailed by every fleeting emotion or impulse. A mind that stays laser focused on your goals and dreams, no matter what obstacles or temptations come your way. That's the kind of power that discipline brings. And it's not just about achieving success in the traditional sense, although, make no mistake, a disciplined mind is a prerequisite for any kind of lasting achievement. It's about achieving mastery over yourself. It's about becoming the captain of your own ship instead of being tossed about by the waves of circumstance. Now, let me be clear. Disciplining your mind is not easy. It's a daily battle, a constant struggle against the path of least resistance. But that's what makes it so valuable. Anything worth having in this life requires effort, requires sacrifice, requires discipline. Think about the greatest achievers throughout history. The inventors, the artists, the leaders, the visionaries. Do you think they achieved their greatness by accident? By letting their minds wander aimlessly? Of course not. They disciplined their minds. They harnessed the incredible power of focus and determination, and they channeled it toward their goals. So how do you discipline your mind? Well, it starts with awareness. You have to become acutely aware of the thoughts and impulses that are holding you back. When you catch yourself procrastinating or indulging in negative self-talk or getting distracted by trivial pursuits, you have to call yourself out on it. You have to shine a light on those mental habits that are keeping you stuck. Once you've developed that awareness, you can start to create new habits. Habits of discipline, habits of focus, habits of determination. Maybe it's setting aside dedicated time each day for undistracted work or study. Maybe it's practicing mindfulness and meditation to quiet the mental chatter. Maybe it's surrounding yourself with people who inspire and challenge you to be your best self. Whatever it is, the key is consistency. Discipline is not a switch you can flip on and off at will. It's a muscle that needs to be exercised and strengthened over time. And like any muscle, it will grow stronger the more you work it. But here's the flint in your mind. It isn't just about achieving external goals or accomplishments. It's about achieving inner peace, inner strength, inner fulfillment. When you have a disciplined mind, you're no longer at the mercy of every passing whim or emotion. You're in control. You're the master of your own destiny. Think about the people you know who seem to have it all together. The ones who radiate confidence and calm, even in the midst of chaos. Chances are, those people have disciplined their minds. They've learned to tune out the noise and focus on what really matters. And that's the true power of a disciplined mind. It gives you the ability to cut through the clutter and stay true to your values, your goals, your purpose. It frees you from the shackles of fear, doubt, and distraction that hold so many people back. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Disciplining your mind is hard work. It requires constant vigilance, constant effort. There will be days when you falter, when you slip back into old habits and patterns of thought, but that's okay. That's part of the process. The key is to pick yourself back up, dust yourself off, and keep going. Because here's the thing, the more discipline your mind, the easier it becomes, the more you flex that mental muscle, the stronger it gets. And before you know it, the habits of discipline become second nature. They become a part of who you are, woven into the very fabric of your being. And when that happens, my friends, that's when the real magic starts to unfold. That's when you start to tap into the true power of your mind. That's when you start to achieve things you never thought possible. That's when you start to live the life you've always dreamed of. So, let me ask you, are you ready to take control of your mind? Are you ready to harness the incredible power that lies within you? Are you ready to become the master of your own destiny? If the answer is yes, then let's get started. Let's commit to disciplining our minds one day at a time, one thought at a time. Let's embrace the struggle, the discomfort, the hard work that it takes to cultivate true mental discipline. Because at the end of the day, that's what separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. That's what separates the achievers from the dreamers. That's what separates those who live their lives on their own terms and those who are forever at the mercy of circumstance. So let's choose to be extraordinary. Let's choose to be achievers. Let's choose to be the masters of our own destiny. Let's discipline our minds and watch as the world opens up before us, filled with endless possibilities and boundless potential. The journey won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Trust me on that. Because when you have disciplined mind, there's no limit to what you can achieve. No dream is too big, no goal is too ambitious. The world is yours for the taking. You know, when I look back on my own journey, the times when I struggled the most were the times when my mind was undisciplined. When I let doubt and fear creep in, when I let distractions and excuses derail me from my goals. But the times when I truly soared, when I achieved things I never thought possible, those were the times when I had disciplined my mind, when I had silenced the inner critic and focused all my mental energy on what I wanted to create in this world. And let me tell you, that feeling of harnessing the full power of a disciplined mind, it's like nothing else. It's an incredible rush. It's like becoming unstoppable, like having the wind at your back, propelling you forward with an unstoppable force. But you have to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to face down those inner demons, the doubts, the fears, the limiting beliefs that try to hold you back. And you have to be willing to fight for your dreams day in and day out with unwavering discipline and determination. Because make no mistake, the path to a disciplined mind is not an easy one. It's a constant battle against the forces of mediocrity, against the pull of complacency, against the lure of instant gratification. But that's what makes it so valuable. That's what makes the reward so sweet. Because when you fought that battle, when you've stared down those inner demons and emerged victorious, that's when you truly understand the power of a disciplined mind. You see, discipline is not something that's imposed upon you from the outside. It's something that comes from within. It's a choice to take control of your thoughts, your actions, your very existence. And when you make that choice, when you commit to that path, everything changes. Suddenly, the excuses and the distractions that used to derail you, they lose their power. Suddenly, the obstacles that once seemed insurmountable become mere speed bumps on the road to success. Because you've tapped into that inner strength, that inner resolve that comes from a disciplined mind. And let me tell you, that feeling of empowerment, that sense of being in complete control of your destiny, it's addictive. It's a high that no substance on earth can match. Because when you have a disciplined mind, you're no longer at the mercy of external circumstances. You're the master of your own reality. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. You might be thinking, Jim, this all sounds great, but I've tried to discipline my mind before, and I just can't seem to stick with it. And believe me, I get it. I've been there. We all have. But here's the thing. It's not a one-time event. It's not something you can just check off a list and be done with. It's a daily practice, a constant commitment to choosing the harder path, to doing the work, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's inconvenient. And yes, there will be times when you slip up. There will be times when you give in to temptation, when you let your mind wander off track. But that's okay. That's part of the process. The key is to never give up, to never let those stumbles define you or derail you from your ultimate goal. Because here's the truths. A disciplined mind is not something you achieve once and then coast on for the rest of your life. It's something you have to nurture and cultivate every single day through the choices you make, through the thoughts you entertain, through the actions you take. And yes, it's hard work, but anything worthwhile in this life is hard work. Anything that truly matters requires sacrifice, requires effort, requires discipline. Think about the greatest achievements in human history. The pyramids of Egypt, the works of Shakespeare, the moon landing. Do you think any of those things were accomplished by people who took the easy way out? Who let their minds wander aimlessly? Without focus or discipline? Of course not. They were accomplished by men and women who had disciplined their minds to an extraordinary degree, who had harnessed the full power of their mental faculties and channeled it toward a singular goal, no matter what obstacles or setbacks they faced along the way. And that's the kind of power that's available to each and every one of us if we're willing to do the work. If we're willing to discipline our minds and tap into that boundless potential that lies within us all. So, let me ask you again. Are you ready to take that journey? Are you ready to face down the inner demons and emerge victorious? Are you ready to become the master of your own reality, the captain of your own ship? If the answer is yes, then let's get to work. Let's start today right here, right now, by making a commitment to ourselves, a commitment to discipline our minds, to cultivate that inner strength and resolve that will carry us through any challenge, any obstacle, any setback that life throws our way. It won't be easy, but nothing worthwhile ever is. There will be days when you want to give up, when you want to take the easy way out. But on those days, I want you to remember why you started this journey in the first place. Remember the dreams and aspirations that first ignited that spark within you. Remember the vision of the extraordinary life you want to create for yourself. And when you remember those things, when you tap into that deep well of motivation and purpose, that's when you'll find the strength to carry on. That's when you'll find the discipline to silence the doubts and the distractions and to stay laser focused on your goal. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Living a life of purpose, a life of passion, a life of extraordinary achievement. And the only way to get there is through the power of a disciplined mind. So, let's make a pact, you and I. Let's commit to being disciplined in our thoughts, in our actions, in our very existence. Let's embrace the struggle, the discomfort, the hard work that it takes to cultivate true mental mastery. And when we do, when we finally unlock the full potential of our disciplined minds, just imagine what we can achieve. Imagine the heights we can soar to, the barriers we can break, the lives we can impact. The world is waiting for us, my friends. The world is waiting for those who are willing to do the work, to embrace the struggle, to discipline their minds and unleash their true power. So, let's not keep the world waiting any longer. Let's step into our greatness. Let's unleash the unstoppable force of our disciplined minds, and let's go out and change the world. One thought, one action, one achievement at a time. You know, one of the greatest lies we tell ourselves is that we don't have time to discipline our minds. We get so caught up in the daily grind, in the hustle and bustle of modern life, that we convince ourselves that taking the time to cultivate mental discipline is a luxury we can't afford. But I'm here to tell you that's just an excuse. It's our undisciplined minds playing tricks on us, trying to keep us stuck in mediocrity, trying to keep us from reaching our full potential. The truth is, you have the same 24 hours in a day as everyone else. It's not about having more time. It's about using the time you have more wisely. It's about making the conscious choice to invest a portion of that time in disciplining your mind, in sharpening that mental blade that will allow you to cut through the distractions and the obstacles that stand in your way. Because here's the thing, when you have a disciplined mind, you actually gain more time. You're no longer wasting precious hours and days and weeks caught in the quicksand of procrastination or chasing after every shiny object that catches your eye. Instead, you're focused, you're purposeful, and you're making the most of every single moment. like the old saying goes, ask a busy person. And the reason for that is simple. Busy people, truly productive people, have disciplined their minds. They've learned to prioritize, to focus, to eliminate the time wasters and the energy drainers that so many of us allow to consume our days. So instead of telling yourself that you don't have time to discipline your mind, ask yourself this. Can you really afford not to? Can you really afford to keep living a life of distraction, of unfulfilled potential, of constantly feeling like you're treading water instead of swimming for shore? Because the truth is, disciplining your mind isn't just about achieving external goals or accomplishments. It's about achieving inner peace, inner fulfillment, inner mastery over your own existence. And that's something that's worth investing your time in, no matter how busy you might think you are. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. You might be thinking, Jim, this all sounds great in theory, but how do I actually go about disciplining my mind? What are the practical steps I can take to start this journey? Well, my friends, I'm glad you asked, because the path to a disciplined mind isn't some mysterious esoteric process. It's a series of simple, practical steps that anyone can take, steps that will help you gain control over your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. The first step is to become aware of your thought patterns. So often, we operate on autopilot, letting our minds run wild without even realizing. But the key to disciplining your mind is to catch yourself in the act of undisciplined thinking. Whether it's negative self-talk, or catastrophizing, or simply getting caught up in distractions and procrastination. Once you've developed that awareness, the next step is to consciously redirect your thoughts. When you find yourself slipping into those unhelpful patterns, you have to make the choice to steer your mind back on course. It might be through affirmations or visualization, or simply taking a few deep breaths and refocusing on your goals and priorities. And let me tell you, this redirection process isn't easy at first. It's like trying to steer a massive ship. It takes effort, it takes persistence, and it takes an unwavering commitment to the course you've set. But the more you practice, the easier it becomes, until eventually, disciplined thinking becomes second nature. Another key component of disciplining your mind is cultivating the ability to delay gratification. So much of what derails us from our goals and our dreams is the lure of instant gratification. Whether it's mindless scrolling on social media, binge watching TV shows, or indulging in unhealthy habits that provide temporary pleasure but long-term detriment. But when you have a disciplined mind, you've learned to master that impulse. You've learned to keep the bigger picture in mind, to make choices that align with your long-term vision and values, even when it means sacrificing momentary pleasure or convenience. And let me tell you, there's a certain power and a certain freedom that comes from being able to delay gratification. It's the power to rise above the whims and the cravings that so often dictate the lives of the undisciplined. It's the freedom to live life on your own terms, guided by your own compass, rather than being tossed about by the waves of circumstance and fleeting impulses. Of course, disciplining your mind isn't just about what's going on inside your head. It's also about the actions you take, the habits you cultivate, and the environment you create for yourself. That's why another crucial step on this journey is to eliminate distractions and temptations from your environment. If you're trying to discipline your mind while surrounded by a constant barrage of notifications, alerts, and digital noise, you're fighting an uphill battle. So, take the time to audit your physical and digital spaces. Identify the things that are pulling your attention away from what truly matters and make a conscious effort to minimize or eliminate those distractions. It might mean turning off notifications on your devices or implementing strict time limits for certain activities. It might mean creating a dedicated workspace that's free from clutter and visual noise. Or it might mean surrounding yourself with people who inspire and encourage you to be your best self, rather than enabling your bad habits and undisciplined tendency. Because here's the thing, disciplining your mind isn't just an individual pursuit. It's something that's reinforced and amplified by the people and the environment around you. When you surround yourself with positive influences and supportive structures, it becomes infinitely easier to stay on track and maintain that mental discipline. And speaking of supportive structures, one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal is the practice of setting routines and rituals. When you create consistent patterns and habits around your most important priorities and activities, you're essentially outsourcing a portion of the discipline to your environment and your schedule. For example, if you set a non-negotiable routine of waking up early and dedicating the first hour of your day to focused work or study, you're removing the need to constantly summon willpower and discipline in the moment. You're creating a structure that supports your goals and makes disciplined behavior the path of least resistance. Of course, these are just a few examples of the many strategies and techniques you can employ on your journey to a disciplined mind. The specifics will vary from person to person based on your unique goals, your unique challenges, and your unique strengths and weaknesses. But the core principle remains the same. Discipline in your mind is a choice, a conscious decision to take control of your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. It's a commitment to doing the hard work, to embracing the struggle, and to never giving up on the vision of the extraordinary life you want to create for yourself. And I tell you, my friends, that journey, as challenging as it may be at times, is one of the most rewarding and fulfilling paths you can ever embark upon. Because when you finally unlock the full power of a disciplined mind, the world opens up to you in ways you never thought possible. Suddenly, the obstacles that once seemed insurmountable become mere speed bumps. The doubts and the fears that once held you back fade into insignificance. And the dreams and the goals that once felt like distant fantasies start to take shape right before your eyes. It's a feeling of pure exhilaration, of boundless potential, of knowing that you are the master of your own destiny. And it's a feeling that can never be taken away from you because it's rooted in the one thing that no one else can control, the power of your own mind. I implore you, don't let another day go by without starting your journey toward a disciplined mind. Don't let the excuses and the distractions hold you back from the extraordinary life that's waiting for you. Take that first step today. Commit to becoming aware of your thought patterns, to redirecting your mind when it wanders, to cultivating the ability to delay gratification, and to eliminate distractions from your environment. Surround yourself with supportive people and structures that reinforce your commitment to discipline. And above all, never ever give up on the vision of the person you know you were born to become. Because at the end of the day, that's what this journey is all about. It's not just about achieving external success or accomplishments, though those will certainly follow. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, about tapping into the limitless potential that lies within each and every one of us. And when you finally unlock that potential, when you finally harness the full power of a disciplined mind, there's no telling what you can achieve. The sky is not the limit. It's merely the beginning. So, let's get started. Let's take that first step together. And let's embark on a journey that will change our lives forever. A journey towards mental mastery, towards inner peace, towards the realization of our wildest dreams and our most ambitious visions. The path won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Trust me on that. Because when you have a disciplined mind, the world is yours for the taking. No dream is too big, no goal is too ambitious, no challenge is too great. So, what are you waiting for? Time is now. The power is within you. Discipline your mind and let's go out and change the world one thought, one action, one achievement at a time. Are you ready? Then, let's get to work. The journey begins now, and it begins with the unstoppable force of a disciplined mind. Let's go!